Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, great people. Welcome back to Global Happenings. Today, we're so excited to have you again. All effort to have a meeting with the federal government, according to Nigerian Labour Congress, had proved abortive. And right now, there is a serious message that Labour has sent across to all Nigeria, which is why we want to use this opportunity to let you understand in full, especially those who are resident in Nigeria, what Labour is intending to do, which is for the general good of Nigerians. Because if we like it, whether we like it or yes, Nigerians are passing through very difficult moment, and the ideal thing to do is to ensure that the government is being held to ransom. They must do something, whether it's going to be palliative or whatever they have in mind, but they just have to do something so that Nigerians can smile again. And this is what Labour have to tell all Nigerians. According to the news, the federal government will on Monday meet with a representative of organized labor in an effort to prevent the nationwide strike called by the Nigerian Labour Congress. However, the NLC has advised citizens to stock their homes with food items, medicine, and other essential things ahead of the commencement of its 7-day strike to protest the removal of fuel subsidy and the escalating cost of living in the country. The warning, it noted, has become necessary because the strike would cripple the country as movement will be severely curtailed as commercial transport operators would withdraw their services while markets, schools, and healthcare facilities will be forced to shut down. The Assistant General Secretary NLC Chris Onyeka said in an interview with one of our correspondents that the citizens should also minimize their movement so as to avoid being stranded. It has been reported that the NLC had given the government a 7-day ultimatum with threat of a nationwide strike scheduled to commence on Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023. The labor movement, in a statement signed by its national president, Joe Ajero, accused Tinubu-led federal government of failing to meet up with the demands it presented to it following the removal of the subsidy on premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, which caused an astronomical rise in the pump price of the commodity. Following the announcement of the strike by the NLC, the government immediately called for an emergency meeting with the organized labor comprising the NLC and Trade Union Congress, with a follow-up meeting on Friday at the State House. However, officials of the organized labor angrily stormed out of the meeting following the alleged failure of the government team to show up. Oyeka noted that the Labour team will meet with the government on Monday, adding that the outcome of the meeting will determine the next step. According to him, he says Nigerians should be prepared. That's what we are saying. Being prepared means you have to stock food in your house and be economical with your movement at this particular point in time so as to avoid being stranded. It is going to be a nationwide mass protest, and we are sure it will affect every corner of the country. We are so seriously mobilizing across the nation. We are currently at work at the Secretariat alongside the CSOs. We may not shut down the power supply system, but as the protest goes on, we may shut down other places, depending on the response of the government. The Friday meeting didn't hold at all. The government side was not prepared. The representatives were not available. They didn't show any seriousness towards what they were doing. One of the things we do is hold dialogues. We don't run away from the table anytime they call us. We are having another meeting with them on Monday. The Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers and the National Union of Electricity Employees on Saturday confirmed that they were mobilizing their members to ground the supply of fuel and the Sorry, I'll take that again. The Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers and the National Union of Electricity Employees on Saturday confirmed that they were mobilizing their members to ground the supply of fuel and the national electricity grid from Wednesday in response to the planned mass protest called by the NLC. General Secretary Nupen Afolabi Oluwale told Nigerians that the Congress has taken a unanimous decision and it is mandatory that every affiliate should obey the directive of the Nigerian Labour Congress. When probed further to confirm if Nupen was mobilizing its member to halt the lifting of petroleum product, Olowale's reply, that's it. I have given you an answer. On their part, electricity workers stated that they would shut the national power grid as it was binding on all employees in the sector to join the mass protest. The acting general secretary, NUEE, Dominic Ikwebike, stated that the NUEE is an affiliate of the NLC and I have told you that we will join the strike action. The issue is that if there is a dreadlock between labor and the government, that means that the mass protest is still going on, and definitely electricity workers, as an affiliate of the NLC, will partake in the mass protest. So all workers in the power sector will join the mass protest on Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023. It is binding on every staff members to join the strike action. So if it results in a blackout, the only option is for the government to listen to us if it wants power to return. The government should listen to the Nigerian masses who are going through serious suffering right now. That is the only thing we are asking for. So for now, the protest is going to hold unless there is a further directive from the NLC. The National Deputy President, TUC, Tomietum, blasted the government over the lack of seriousness shown so far with regards to the negotiation. According to him, he says, when we got to the villa on Friday, we waited for almost 2 hours at the gate for clearance with no intervention. It was after 2 hours that we were allowed in. By the time we got to the point of the meeting, we realized that the team representing the government failed to show up. So it's wrong to actually say Labour stormed out of the meeting. How can Labour storm out of a meeting that did not hold? We felt very disappointed because we did not expect this from the government. The National Executive Council of the NLC had on Friday endorsed the August 2nd nationwide strike and mass protest proposed by the body over the recent hike in the pump price of petrol. However, the federal government had told the NLC that it was legally restrained from embarking on the planned nationwide strike due to the ruling of the National Industrial Court, which restrained organized labor from embarking on the strike. The steering committee members met the government delegation on Wednesday, where the two parties agreed to reconvene on Friday to get a brief from the government subcommittee on mass transit, compressed natural gas, and cash transfer. The steering committee was set up by the federal government to draw up intervention plans to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal on Nigeria. Wow, this is really, really interesting. There had been a lot of reactions from Nigerians, and for me, this is really out of place. And I feel that the government needs this kind of treatment because it is getting very, very unbearable. And this is a time for there to be unity and oneness. You know, we saw what happened in the Senate when they talked about let the poor breed. It was a laughing matter because they know that the poor will taste the worst from them. And I pray that the worst doesn't happen in this country because based on what we are seeing in other countries of Africa, who knows what will happen in the nearest future. Someone here said, Oga, at the top, it seems you do not understand the hardship happening in the country. Another person here says the only thing that will happen is increase in salary by 25% and things will cost over 50% again. Why can't NLC and add how government can divert the subsidy to curtail the cost of transportation and make our electricity stable and make government let our refineries function. Even if it's one, they can strike because of this. Not every time about salary increment, which only favors them. The more increment of the salary, they double the rise of cost of living. Wow. Now this is interesting, but they pass the message. Nigerians should prepare themselves so that tomorrow you won't wake up and begin to cry out about the suffering that had happened to you. So get prepared, buy everything, stock your house, because since the government do not want to understand, the NLC have the full right to do what they want to. That's what we like to